I used to think that hitting big financial goals would finally make me happy. But no matter how much money I made, I still felt empty because of one thing: corn induced ED, right? Success in public could not fix the pain, the frustration I felt, and embarrassment in private. And here's what I wish I knew sooner: money can't buy self control. Now, this is a hot take for sure, right? Because, and I told you guys before, right? I had other things that was going on that were generating some income. And what happened is, man, I would always grind so hard to make the money, right? And what happened is, I was getting more material success. But this was one area that I couldn't figure it out, right? I tried the willpower, right? I tried to listen to the online forums, what they were telling me, and I just couldn't figure it out. I'm like, man, I try and I feel like I'm in the same place year after year after year. And don't get me wrong, I had some material success, like I said in my original video, where, I made a certain amount of money and all of that. But it was still that area that no matter how much money I made, no matter how many things I bought, all of that, I was technically still in the same place, right? And it's one of those things where you can always make more money, but what you can't do is you can't get time back, right? And with the extra money, it almost just made the problem even worse, because it's like, man, like, I'm making so much progress in this one area, right? Financially, I'm doing better. I'm doing better. But man, I can't even live the type of life that I want to, because I don't have the type of control that I know I can have, right? It almost makes you feel powerless. It's like, and they say that saying, what does it gain a man to, gain the whole world but lose his soul, right? And basically, when you don't have control over you, it doesn't matter what you make all this money when you can't control yourself. Like, it literally doesn't matter. And it's crazy to say, because people look at the money, they look at the fame and all these things, and you think that's what's really going to fulfill you. But when you realize you get more of that and more, and sure, you may be comfortable financially, but if you can't even solve your own problems, you can't have, the type of family that you want, the relationships that you want, you know so what? So what? You have a lot of money, sure, but you're still at square one, because you're stuck in the same place year after year, time after time, right? And the problem stays with you no matter what's in your bank account. And I literally saw that firsthand. I'm like, man, one area I'm doing great, but here I'm still stuck in the same place after all this time, right? So it's no joke, man. You only get one of these, man. You got to take it seriously. Number two, private struggles outweigh public success, right? On the outside, you may seem to have it all together, but PID drains your confidence and happiness in private, right? And let's say you're able to go to the fancy restaurants, do all of these things, but when it comes time, right, when you're, let's say, you know, it's getting to that point when you're in a relationship, and you want to take things to the next level. If you can't perform, your relationship is probably not gonna last, right? And it's this daily reminder that no matter how much you're stacking over and over again, you can't have the outcome that you want. It's almost like self control is priceless, right? Because you got to realize that a lot of these things are domino effects, right? If someone deals with this, there's a good chance they might have other problems in their life as well, right? They may be anxious about this entire area, right? There's a lot of other things that it can stack on top, right? And it's almost like in terms of habits, right? If you stack things one under another and you have a solid foundation, that'll make your life that much better. But then when you're talking about and you don't have a solid foundation, man, it makes it tough. It makes every other area of your life, man, you don't have the time that you want because you're wasting time, scrolling on your phone, computer, tablet, whatever it is, watching corn. You're wasting a ton of time, right? And then you think about everything else. And in private, right? On the outside, people see you doing these things. You're like, man, you got it. You got it all. But on the inside, you know that there's something not right. You don't feel fulfilled because you can't control this. You literally can't control these. You don't feel, and a lot of times if we really think about it, the man that you want to be, you know that's not it. You know you're not reaching your potential in terms of, what does it actually mean to be a man, right? If you can't control yourself, how can you take care of a family, be in a relationship if you can't even control something as minute as your two hands, right? And not to say that it's easy, but if you can't control one area, this is going to spill over to other areas. Chasing money can distract you from the real issue. Now, what's interesting about this one is that I know on my journey as well, right? I would be making money, but it almost felt like a distraction because I was so focused on making more money that I couldn't actually take the time necessary to take the inventory and fix this problem, right? And it's almost like we use making money as a band-aid to justify everything, right? And for example, a lot of the work that I had to do would often lead me and really expose me to other temptations, right? And to other areas to where I'm like, man, like, this is not, I'm not putting myself in the best position because maybe I have to consume a certain type of information. For example, right? I had to go on Instagram and look at certain news on Instagram, right? And what that would do is I would see certain things that I knew were tempting to me because I knew Instagram, what was their game, right? To keep people on the platform as long as possible. And what are they doing? Right? They're going to show men certain images, right? Provocative images, like I always say, right? So they're showing you these things, right? And what happens is I was so focused on, boom, I gotta make this, that I was willing to sacrifice and put myself in compromising situations just to make money, right? And making money is important. I'm not here to tell you it's not important, but having self-control is also important. Having the quality of relationship that you want is also important. Being able to have control of your time, energy, and attention is also important, right? And that was a huge problem for me. It was like I had conflicting priorities, right? On one end, I say I want to make progress. I don't want to be in the same situation. But then on the other end, I'm putting myself in a compromising situation, right? And the goal for all of you should really be to live that viceless lifestyle, right? And this is just what it is. It's a vice, right? So really think about that, right? And don't let money be a band-aid to what you're doing. Don't let money put you in compromising situations. And if it does, figure out a way to work around it, right? Don't let your hustle just cripple you in this type of area. And number 4, and this is kind of flipping things on top on the other side. Fixing PIED changed everything, right? And once I addressed the real issue, every area of my life changed, right? Success, relationships, and confidence. And actually feeling fulfilled, right? Now, sure, did I have success prior to this? Sure. But what happened when I was able to focus more, right? And be more intense, more intentional? I'll tell you for sure, my relationship life definitely changed, right? That was an area to where I knew it was a weak area for me, but what was I able to do, right? I was able to finally be confident in those situations, right? And know that I'm secure in myself, right? I have the control over myself that there's nothing that's going to come my way that's really going to throw me off, right? There's nothing that is going to, take me off of that pivot. And that's what it really means, showing up when people need you most, right? And being that rock is what it really means, or is a meaning to being a man, right? And actually being able to be in those positions to where I have the energy to where I want to go out, I want to socialize, do all these other things, right? Have relationships, all these other things, man, all you got to do is step 1, take inventory and really focus, on quitting the corn, right? And gaining that confidence in yourself because man, one of the biggest things that happens, right? What happens? You tell yourself you're going to do something and then boom, you get to that point to where You're lying to yourself, right? You're going through the same cycle over and over again. You think that something else is going to happen. You think that something's going to drop from the sky when you know deep down in your heart and in your mind that you're the only one that can solve your problems, right? And yes, there are other people who have solved your problems, but at the end of the day, you gotta put in the groundwork. You have to put in that work. And trust me, your life will absolutely change. You won't be worrying about certain things. Even something as small as, okay, you opening up that browser on your phone and you got other people around you. Man, and you know what I'm talking about, right? You open up that browser and you're in that situation where, man, maybe you're not sure exactly what you were looking at. So you gotta put your brightness all the way down and you gotta open up that browser and close out of it. Versus, man, if you were the man you wanted to be, man, you open up that browser anywhere. You know you're chilling because you know you have the good habits and are putting yourself in the place that you want to be. You're not living with vices and you're not compromising, right? You're not making compromises just because it sounds good or people tell you that something like this is okay, that it's healthy. When you know deep down in your mind, you know it's not. You know you feel better. You know you feel that masculine energy, right? When you retain, when you're on point, you know it. And you can reach that, man, but you have to take the first step. Now, if you're dealing with the corn induced ED, you want to fix this for good, man. You want help. You want to get back to reaching your full potential. Be the man that you know you have that capability of being. Book a free call down below. Let's see exactly how I can help you see what's holding you back and get you some real results. Get you unstuck because you've been in the same place for all this time, man. All this time. So have some respect for yourself and for the future that you want. Click that link. Let's talk. Peace.